So, folks, we're about to watch the California governor debate, if all goes well. And we are going to be seeing a bunch of folks vying for, jockeying really for different lanes here. And if I had to wager anything on this, not that I would, but I'm going to guess that a lot of folks who have, some fond memories of Katie Porter with a whiteboard are going to be extremely disappointed. She has not been doing well in this governor's race, and I think that she's going to disappoint a lot of people. What I am going to say is that from everything that I've been paying attention to, Tom Steyer might be the guy. He might be the guy that actually impresses folks. And I know that that is a bold prediction here, but I know he's a billionaire. I know he made his money off of just some deeply unethical shit. But also, he basically has the Bernie Sanders support system around him. And those people are true believers. They are people who actually believe in building like a socialist project, a more equitable, progressive project. And I don't think that they would be surrounding Tom Steyer if they thought Tom Steyer wasn't a real one. And that's kind of where I'm at here with this. I know that there are going to be an awful lot of other candidates on there. I would also expect some folks are kind of backing Xavier Becerra. I got to tell you guys, Becerra's got a lot of corporate donors that I think are make him particularly suspect. As for some of the other ones, I gotta be honest with you, I am not familiar with every candidate running in this race. So maybe someone else will surprise us here. But Tom Steyer seems to have the juice, as the kids say. And I'm excited to see where this all goes. I just don't trust billionaires is all, and you shouldn't. But I will say that with a bunch of reservations, I do think Steyer might be the one that is going to surprise us tonight. I wish I had some juice. I got some juice. It's tea juice and lemonade. I'm going to spare you guys the national anthem. I'm sure it's fine, but I know folks are a little bit cantankerous about the patriotism at the moment. Not patriotism. Cantankerous about this country. Yeah, we're gonna go. Look, it's one of the first debates we've done in a hot minute. Paladin
She's got
Wast.
the JUICE one.
Thank you very much for subscribing and for being the first person to support the stream today. Very much appreciated. And I guess before we get underway here, reminder to y'all, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words really help in the algorithm. Share this around to your friends, your family, your dogs, your cats, your children. Whatever. Share it around. Do the things. And do consider financially supporting the show because you guys make this show possible, believe it or not. Let's jump into it, shall we?
It's a dire situation.
The bureaucracy that burns the industry, burns businesses.
It's a really special thing that we have, and to lose it would be a real tragedy.
And that decision starts now as we question the leading candidates vying for the state's top job. Former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco.
I was saying his name wrong.
Fox News host Steve Hilton. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan. Former Orange County Representative Katie Porter. Billionaire Tom Steyer. And former L.A. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa.
NBC4 and Telemundo 52 present Decision 2026.
A fight for
Let's
California's
go.
future, the debate for governor.
Welcome to the beautiful Skirball Cultural Center, a place that brings
Oh, I
people
am
and
going to
communities
flip it, by the
together.
way.
Good evening,
just
everyone.
as an
I'm
FYI.
Colleen Williams. We are broadcasting live across the state. The top candidates for governor of California have one last televised debate to make their pitch to voters before the primary in June. Tonight, NBC4 and Telemundo 52, in partnership with LMU, are bringing you the final statewide debate to California voters, actually. I'm joined by my colleagues, Conan Nolan from NBC4, our chief political reporter, and Telemundo 52 news anchor, Enrique Chiabra.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches a todos. In the next hour, we'll be asking the leading candidates questions that are going to showcase their differences. We're broadcasting and streaming in both English y también en español.
Wait, question. Should I flip it and then all of the text is weird, or should I full screen it and make it really small? Which are you going to, which do you guys want? We're on a time crunch here. I need to know. You gotta post in chat. Tick tock tick. Flip, people can read backwards? Okay.
Here, and 30 seconds for follow-ups. For our live audience, please hold your
overwhelming
applause.
flip. Gotcha.
Question number one goes to you, Conan.
That's right, Colleen. In deference to you, one note here. You had a bit of a food fight last night on another debate. We'd prefer that not happen here.
And see you later.
We want a competition of ideas. Please don't interrupt for the benefit of the voters and the viewing public. So let's talk about the issue of housing.
Flip it vertically.
The Department of Finance last week said, yes, more people are leaving the state than are arriving. We know that. Employers, unless
this
you're an
is
AI
what
company
peak
in San
performance
Francisco,
looks
are
like.
having a hard time finding people to take jobs in this state because they can't afford to live here. Everybody has said we need more housing. We need to build more housing, but I'd like some specifics. Mr. Hilton, we'll start with you. In our conversation, you said we need more subdivisions and to link them by freeways. Do I have that right?
Yes, the California dream was built on that idea of owning your own home. And right now we have the highest housing costs
you know
in
what?
the country.
This is obnoxious.
And the
I'm just gonna
lowest
leave it
home
unflipped.
ownership. Young people saying to me all the time, I can't imagine making my life in California because I'll never be able to own my own home. We've got to change direction on housing. Yes, we've got to simplify the regulations that make it so expensive, 2 or 3 times more expensive to build housing compared to other states. Yes, we have to stop the hidden taxes on house building. But the big change we need to make, which the Democrats on this stage aren't prepared to make, is to end this ideology which says the only acceptable form of housing is to shove apartment buildings into suburban neighborhoods. We've stopped building the kind of starter homes and single family homes we used to build so well in California that made the California dream a reality. And that is what I will get back to as governor,
man,
to restore
infinite
that
sprawling
California
suburbia.
dream of
Let's
home
go.
ownership.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer.
Such a dog shit idea.
The biggest problem in California is Californians can't afford to live here anymore. And the number one part of that is housing. And in order to solve our housing problems, there are a bunch of things we have to do. So we have to shorten permitting times and make them less expensive. For sure, everyone on this stage will say that. I believe in zoning densely near public transportation.
Hell yeah.
And I believe that the way to drive down costs per square foot by at least a third is by constructing off-site and then putting together on-site. But there's some other things I'll do that no one else on this stage will say. I'm going to close a corporate real estate tax loophole for $22 billion a year. That's going to go to the cities and counties. And that's going to make them willing to permit housing and to make it happen. They're standing in the way.
Let's
because
go.
Housing is an unfunded liability for them. I'm going to fund it. And
This is a
lastly,
reason to flip
our
things
community
vertically.
bank, nonprofit
I wish I
community
could
bank
click
has
on that,
financed
but I can't
17,000
pause
low-income
this
housing units.
debate,
The state of
sadly.
California needs to use finance.
Thank you, Mr.
to
Steyer.
Finance low-income units and also for down payment assistance.
Thank you. Sheriff Bianco?
Yes,
God,
we
came out of the
certainly
gate
can't
swinging.
afford to live here anymore, and it's exactly solutions like that are exactly why you can't afford to live here anymore, and why you will never be able to afford to live in California anymore. Unfortunately, in the position we are, I'll stick up for Steve unless you elect Steve or I, because the policies that the rest of the people on this stage
it's because of dense zoning near public transit
is just a repeat of all of the problems that got us here in the first place. You can't afford a home in California because the builders cannot afford to build homes because of the excessive regulations in California.
This guy's just a
With me as
Republican.
your governor, we will become, for the first time in many decades, a building empire in our country. We will build more homes than we have ever built before because we will allow builders to build them. We will remove the restrictions and the regulations that prevent it right now. And those restrictions come from CEQA, they come from the Coastal Commission, they also even from on the outside in CARB. But regulations
he's got that Republican phrenology.
Housing in California.
Secretary Becerra, when we had an interview, you said that
he's a
should
sheriff?
be based on
cop
how many
phrenology.
people we want
Makes
to
sense.
live in California. We have to determine what essentially our population. Do I have that right? And can you explain in your 1 minute what did you mean by that?
Sure, Conan. We have to make sure we understand how many homes we need. And you can't understand how many homes you need unless you know how many people are coming to California. I remember when my parents told me the story when they got here, they had $12 in their pocket, yet they got to live that California dream. They purchased a home. They were able to give my 3 sisters and I far more than they ever had. And that's what we have to get back to, is giving every family that opportunity. I will make sure that down payment assistance programs are expanded under my watch, because today, California families are essentially buying a house. They're just buying it for the landlord, because in their rental payments, they're essentially paying the mortgage. How about we do this? How about we help you get that last cog in the process of buying a house, the down payment? Then when you pay a monthly payment, it's not for rent, it's to own the home. How about we make sure Wall Street isn't the person you're bidding against when you're trying to buy that house? That is unfair when Wall Street can outbid you. Third, how about we streamline regs, make CEQA work, because CEQA was meant to help protect communities, not to stop housing.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
This is just abundance.
Yeah, housing is personal to me. It's personal to me because I've spent a large part of my career working on helping families who couldn't afford housing, who were the victims of predatory lenders or were facing eviction. It's also personal to me because I'm raising 3 teenagers here, one of whom I think there's a pretty good chance he's going to wind up living on my couch if we don't figure out how to build more affordable housing. It's not enough to just build housing for those who are here. We have to build enough housing for California to grow our economy. And it's not enough to just build more. We have to build it less expensively than we
build
are
smarter,
now.
baby.
Building faster is building cheaper. If we build faster, we can take 10 or 20% off the cost of rent and mortgages. That is a lot of money back in the pockets of California. We also need to innovate into construction technique, architectural design, manufacturing,
yeah, this is the whiteboard
and
lady.
housing
This is Katie
finance.
Porter.
When I'm governor, Californians will have a 5% down payment on their houses, not 20.
Thank you. Mr. Mahan, in answering this as a mayor, should the state get involved in zoning? It's normally a local municipality that decides what housing is built.
Well, thanks,
Sounds
Conan.
like cutting
if
corners.
cities don't do their job,
That's what
the state
abundance
absolutely
is.
has to intervene and hold them accountable. I'm running for governor to deliver the kinds of results I've delivered as mayor of our 3rd largest city. When we weren't building housing, we cut permitting times, cut red tape, reduced one-time fees, and got thousands of homes under construction. We built interim housing and moved thousands of people indoors. We've expanded backyard cottages for grandparents and kids coming back from college. We've actually gotten housing built. The entire state of California needs those kinds of results today to create upward mobility for our kids and our grandkids. While we're on the topic of leadership, though, I want to be really clear. We do not need the leadership that MAGA candidates on this stage are offering that's divisive. We don't need the leadership of a billionaire who's now against everything he made his money in, or a career politician who has failed again and again.
I, for one,
to
support
deliver
class
results.
traders.
He's trying to remember his lines.
Right.
Hilarious.
Okay. Mayor Villaraigosa.
You know, my mother struggled to make ends meet, a single mom, so for most of my life we rented. I bought a home at 25 years old. Young families can't do that right now. The average down payment is $140,000. So the first thing we need to do is support down payment assistance. There's an initiative on the ballot, no cost to the taxpayers, that will build 150,000 homes and provide that kind of first-time assistance. Secondly, streamline permitting. But let me remind you all, those of you who live in LA, when I was mayor, we went from 20,000 units of housing downtown to 60,000. We transformed downtown, built more housing, market rate, workforce, affordable, and homeless housing in 8 years 4 years of recession, then the 12 years before that. The next governor's got to roll up their sleeves and get the job done. I will as the next governor.
Thank you.
Next question. A lot of people in the state of California think insurance is at a crisis situation. California investigation this week found State Farm mishandled and delayed claims from the wildfires. Major insurance companies have either pulled out of the state of California or they're stopped writing policies, new policies altogether. Many people feel California's FAIR Plan is the insurer of last resort. It is expensive any way you look at it. What would you do to help homeowners and especially those waiting to rebuild?
It's true. Tom Steyer has never turned his back on the progressive cause in the last 4 years since the primaries.
We're going to start with you. You have 1 minute.
So I have called for a freeze of insurance rates for the very reason you've pointed out. Most Californians don't understand why they are losing their insurance. My mom last year lost insurance coverage for a home she has that she had paid for over 30 years. I don't believe she ever filed a claim on that home. And all of a sudden, her insurance company just dropped her without explanation. That is not fair. There are people still in the Palisades and Altadena who haven't received payment. They haven't received the debt timeline when they're going to be paid.
What specifically would you do to help those folks?
And Kathleen, I was going to get to that. I'm just trying to make sure we explain the problem because it's real for everybody. And that's why I'm calling for a freeze, because those companies ought to tell us. We are entitled to know why they continue to raise our rates, why they get out of Dodge when the going gets tough. We have to make sure they are there when we need them. We have to make sure we go through that audit. And I will make sure that we base insurance on the rates based on risk and risk based on mitigation that's been done to reduce your risk.
Secretary Becerra, thank you. Ms. Porter.
Yeah, we can't afford to freeze rates because what will happen is every insurer remaining in this state will leave. And if people cannot get insurance, they will not build more houses. They will not build green energy projects. The solution is more insurers competing for rates.
Exactly.
I'm a consumer protection advocate. I have spent my life taking on corporations with or without a whiteboard who lie, cheat, or steal. And there's a lot of evidence that that is exactly what State Farm has done here. These folks are victims, and they need someone who isn't taking corporate contributions from the very insurers that they claim they will hold responsible. The solution is to bring insurers back into the market, to do the things that we've already done here in terms of allowing premiums to be written to the risk at the household level.
This is Katie Porter's element,
climate change risk and invest in our firefighting service.
That is exactly her wheelhouse to answer.
Well, Javier, I can tell you why the insurance companies left and stopped writing policies and why your plan will only make it worse. We effectively told them they couldn't use climate data to actually model the amount of risk. We effectively told them they had to lose money by writing new policies. So the answer is bring them back, as Katie said, have them compete to bring down costs. Now, if they slow roll the payment of claims that they need to pay, then yes, let's sue them and hold them accountable. But the truth is the state of California broke the insurance market. We need to bring them back, have them compete, and the state and the federal government have to take responsibility.
I don't know. Maybe we need Democrats who are willing to fight the insurance industry.
Urban areas by clearing brush, thinning forests, and reducing the risk of the catastrophic fires that are driving up insurance costs. It's not rocket science, but price caps will only make it worse. It'll be impossible to bring insurance companies back to California.
Mayor, thank you. Mayor Villaraigosa.
Mr. Mahan and my friend to my left here are right, everybody. The reason why we got here, this is the only state that didn't do catastrophic modeling, the only state that didn't do reinsurance, and the only state that took longer than 3 months to pass a rate hike. So the entire industry left a bigot market. So the notion that we would freeze insurance rates, the governor can't do that. Two, it's just going to make it worse. Now, let me say something about the FAIR Plan.
I'm sorry.
The FAIR Plan is not
If the insurance
fair.
companies are
if I lost
being
my house
fucky,
today,
have the government step in and provide the insurance.
Maybe 3 bedrooms.
They won't play ball. The government
At the
will.
end of the day, we have to make the FAIR Plan something that works for more people until we bring the market back. Once we bring the market back, of course we're going to hold them accountable when they're not paying the insured appropriately.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Mr. Hilton.
So just a couple of observations on what we heard in the previous answers. I love all the stories of the California dream for some of my friends and colleagues on this stage, but the California dream they're talking about happened when you had a Republican governor in California. And that's what we need to get back to restore it. Matt Mahan talked about housing. His city was just rated the least affordable for housing in the world. So what that all points to is that actually, if we want change in California on all these issues, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. Specifically on insurance, the things we haven't heard that I would do as governor is, number one, enforce the actual regulation in the original Proposition 103 that set up our insurance commission.
Dude,
and the
either get the insurance companies to play ball or have the government step in. It's not difficult.
Now it takes over a year. That's one of the reasons.
Like, that's the number one fear of all insurance companies.
Lawsuits are adding sometimes up to $15,000 a year onto insurance premiums, and these Democrats won't change it because they are funded by the trial lawyers.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Can I respond
Steyer.
to that? So,
could I go?
Look, we've had, Steve's right that we've had the least affordable.
Mayor, I'm asking for specifics on this. We'll get back to you in just a moment. Mr. Steyer.
So I think I know as much about business as anyone on this stage, and people are right. This is a huge
If you told me to get in the shop, I would have no desire
and we
to.
need to harden the homes, and we need to reduce the catastrophic risk, and everyone's describing how we need to make it possible for insurance companies to come here and make money. But the truth is, someone has to stand up for Californians when people are going after them. And as someone who's been to Altadena and talked to the people there and see how they've suffered, not just financially, but the stress that it's put in their lives, and the fact that the insurance companies are slow rolling them, and the fact that SoCal Edison is slow rolling them, and the fact that FEMA is slow rolling them. Yeah, I absolutely believe we should have an insurance market, and as governor, I'll make sure we reduce catastrophic risk. But as governor, I'm going to stand up for the people of California when corporations are taking advantage of them.
Oh, hell
and
yeah,
we are
Steyer.
seeing that right now in Altadena and Pacific Palisades, and it's the governor's job to stand up and fight and make sure those people pay the claims, pay the FEMA, and pay the cost of having caused the fire in the first place.
Hell yeah.
Chef Bianco.
Yeah, thank you. So the difference between me and everyone else, after I'm your governor, is I'm not going to lie to you about
I mean,
what's
that's like
causing this
bare
problem in the first
minimum.
place. And I
But
have
he's
some
like one
very
of the few people
dire
on this
news
stage
for
willing
all
to
of you.
say it.
The insurance companies are not going to come back if another Democrat is elected, especially the ones that are on this stage, because the reasons why they left is because of failed Democrat policies that forced them to leave. A government cannot force a business to go into bankruptcy, and the insurance companies repeatedly told our legislature and our governor
this
that
guy's
our
actually a
environmental
Republican.
policies that prevent our fire department from creating defensible space around our homes and our properties was going to lead to multiple cities being destroyed. And unfortunately, we saw it in the Palisades. And unfortunately for the Palisades victims, the insurance companies, our governor called their bluff and they left the state, leaving all of them, most of them, without insurance. We absolutely will get rid of CEQA and the Coastal Commission. The fire department will clear defensible space, and naturally the insurance companies will come back and our rates will go down.
We just need to lure the insurance companies back like they're wild animals.
You have 30 seconds to respond.
Yeah, thank you.
What?
I mean, Steve's right. San Jose is expensive. It has been since before I was born, but as a leader,
Oh, that's the literal founder of the Oath Keepers? Fuck that guy.
City Hall to do better.
Okay.
That's what we need to ask of Sacramento. We reduced
I
fees.
did not know
we
that.
sped up permitting. We cut the red tape, and we got thousands of homes under construction. We're not going to fix California's housing market overnight, but we can hold ourselves accountable for implementing common sense policies that bring investment in home building back
Well, no
to
wonder he
California
looks like a
and create
chud.
room for working
Thank you.
families and younger generations.
So on a different topic, yesterday the vice chair of the California Energy Commission told the legislature we have 4 to 6 weeks left of fuel if the Iranian war continues. Now, if a bill comes before you, I want to know, do you sign it or do you veto it? And this bill would be whether to seek an increase in oil production in Kern County in the Central Valley. The governor of this state was not a big fan of oil. He's actually changed his tune a little bit on that. Yes or no? This is the bill. Do you sign it or do you veto it? Mayor Villaraigosa.
Yes.
Congressman Porter.
Can you repeat the question?
So would you advocate for an increase in oil production in the state? Western states point...
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
All right, very good. Mr. Sheriff Bianco.
Absolutely.
Mr. Hilton.
We don't need a bill. I'll get it done directly as governor by instructing the California Department of Geologic and Energy Management to open up oil production. This is the problem with Democrats. Endless legislation instead of just getting the job done.
We're going to veto it next time. Mr. Steyer.
No.
All right. Mr. Secretary Becerra.
Versus importing? Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, we also should stop pushing all of our refining capacity out of state and importing dirtier oil from thousands of miles away. It doesn't make sense.
We have to start. We have to start refining our own oil.
You don't need to go into detail. It'll cost another $30 billion to finish California high-speed rail from Merced to Bakersfield. We've got the viaduct laid. We have overpasses. Do you finish it? Yes or no? Mayor Villaraigosa.
Yes.
Congresswoman Porter.
Yes, if you can build it faster and cheaper than it's been projected.
Okay, Sheriff Bianco.
No, I would rather arrest the people that stole our money.
All right.
That would be on brand for you doing things that are illegal.
No, stop spending taxpayers' money on pointless things and improve our roads.
No, build the fucking infrastructure, you numbnuts.
Yes, we need
Secretary
public transportation.
Hell yeah.
A slow-speed delivery of high-speed rail? No, but a high-speed delivery of high-speed rail? Yes.
What does that mean?
Well,
that means we get rid of all the bureaucracy.
What does that mean? It means do it faster.
We try to make the call.
Yes, I don't think anyone here
our money's worth.
It's either yes or no.
The bill's on your desk. Do you say yes or do you veto it?
Is that to me?
Yes.
I said, I don't want to do it the way it's been done because we've overspent. But yes, we're going to build high-speed rail.
Yes
or no. We're going to build high-speed rail.
Conan,
He's just saying he wants to build it faster.
Fix CEQA, reduce litigation risk. Let's fix the regulatory environment, and then I'll sign the bill.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my God.
All right, let's talk about companies.
Just build the fucking train.
So companies are moving their headquarters out of California. SpaceX, Tesla, Oracle, Hewlett Packard, so many companies. Those are just a few of the corporations that are going to more tax-friendly states. My question to all of you is, how can you reduce the state's high unemployment rate when so many employers are leaving the state? We're going to start with Mr. Mayhem.
Well, look, the reality is, just like with the insurance market, the housing market, what we're talking about is California has regulated itself to death. And much regulation makes sense. We're protecting workers and the environment. But when projects get caught up in years of litigation, or getting a permit to open a restaurant takes a year, you kill the ability for entrepreneurs and small business owners to actually create a future here. So we've got to actually fix our underlying regulations and make it easier to invest and start
What's going
companies.
on in California
San Jose,
is basically Republicans don't exist, so all the conservatives are in the Democratic Party.
Reduce homelessness, and become the safest big city in the country.
I mean, like Republicans do
raising
exist,
taxes,
but
and with
they're not
a
as
balanced
influential.
budget. It is time to demand our government do better before we ask you to pay more, starting with actually auditing all of the spending in Sacramento, where we've increased the budget by 75%
Thank you.
in the
Thank you
last
so much.
6
Okay,
years.
your time is up, Mr. Villaraigosa.
Look, this is the toughest state to do business in the United States of America. You know, you heard our Republican opponents say that Democrats aren't willing to call it like they see it. I've been willing to do that. I've challenged why we send so many businesses out of this state. I've challenged why we have the highest gas prices, the highest utility costs, the highest home prices in the United States of America. It's because we're looking...
How do we feel about Tom being a billionaire progressive?
Everybody.
Not
That's
great,
what comes with
but
a
I am
proven
liking what
problem
I've seen
solver.
so far.
Someone who's been mayor of Los Angeles, speaker of the assembly. The one thing I get, we got to roll up our sleeves and fix these problems. We have the brains of AI and tech, but the brawn's leaving, and we've got to look in the mirror and ask ourselves why. The reason is overregulation.
God.
We can do this.
God, I
protect the
hate this
environment,
guy.
Protect workers and protect business at the same time.
Thank you, Mr. Villaraigosa.
We have to go all in on AI.
So Matt mentioned
everything's AI now.
I actually did open a couple of restaurants, but not here. Back in the day in England, before we moved here with my wife and my family in 2012, and unbelievably, it's actually much harder to do
Did
it
I
here in
mention I'm
California,
British?
which should be the home of enterprise and opportunity, the best place in the world to do business.
You never
And
would
the
have been able
fact
to
is,
tell,
when we
right?
talk about all those issues, there's this famous saying that comes to mind. The definition of insanity
Oh
is
my
doing the
God.
same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, here in California, we've been voting Democrat over and over and over and over again. And look at the results. The highest unemployment rate in the country, the highest poverty rate, the worst climate for business. We
Why are they letting
cannot
him talk
expect
so much?
to make changes for the better if we keep voting Democrat. I will exclude Antonio. I agree with you, Antonio. You definitely
guy looks
have,
like a Buck Angel
a more
knockoff.
pragmatic approach to this, and that's what we need from our next
Thank you,
governor.
Mr. Hilton.
A problem
We have Buck
solving,
Angel at home.
pragmatic, common
Thank you,
sense
Mr. Hilton.
approach.
Mr. Steyer.
So, California remains the best place to start a business and build a business. But it's also the most expensive.
It's not true.
It's the most expensive.
It's rated
place.
50th out of 50
It is the
states
most
by
expensive
Chief
place to do
Executive
business.
Magazine.
And the
50th out of
person
50.
on
Hell
this
yeah.
stage who is going after those costs and driving them down for working Californians is me. And I'm doing it by going after the special interest corporations who are driving up our costs. I'm going after electric costs that are driven by the electric monopolies. I'm going after
Hell yeah,
gas
trust
costs that
bust.
are driven by the oil companies.
Hell
I'm going
yeah.
after healthcare costs. I'm for single payer.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
going after housing costs. What's driving people out of California is the cost of operating here. And I'm talking about it in terms of people. But it
guy
absolutely is the
rocks.
same thing in terms of the
We've had
companies
them in
that employ
basketball
those people
since the
and have to
70s
pay
on
them to
screen.
live here. You can
You know
tell
what?
I'm doing this because the special interests are spending tens of millions of dollars to stop me. But I'm the person on this stage who's willing to change California and go after the
Thank you,
corporate
Mr.
special
Steyer.
interests that are
Thank you,
driving
Mr.
up the
Steyer.
costs.
Mr.
for working
Steyer.
He's saying a lot of things that I like, guys.
As long as we
Also-
have the same policies that we've had for the last
In honor
2
of Sake
decades,
Tanuki's shot
more
clock
and more
idea,
businesses are going to
every
leave.
single
of course,
time
it's the best place
Steyer
to be.
sinks a
California,
point,
of course, is the greatest state in the world. But the
take a
taxes here,
shot.
the regulations here, are what are causing people to leave. Yes, we want to live here, we just can't. We want to own a business here, we just can't. So the people that are here on this stage are going to tell you everything you want to hear. They've been telling you that every time they want to get elected, and nothing ever changes.
Hell
They
yeah,
are not going
folks.
to deliver anything because it is their policies driving this up.
This
I will
looks-
make
this guy
California
looks like
the
a
most
cartoon
business-friendly
villain.
in the state because we will no longer punish businesses for being in California. We will remove all of the regulations, the regulatory environment that increases cost of business, the PAGA lawsuits that are absolutely destroying every single business simply to raise more money for the state of California
That's
because
Yosemite
we have a
Sam.
spending problem, not a money
Thank you, Mr.
problem.
Bianco.
Yeah,
Mr.
Yosemite
Becerra,
Sam
you're
got
next,
cleaned
please.
up and joined a militia.
Let me give a specific example. Right now, Hollywood is in dire condition because every place in the world wants to have their own Hollywood. We must fight to keep Hollywood here in Southern California because it creates so many great paying jobs. And so I will work with Hollywood. I will work with the industry.
makes a
I will
lot of
work with the
sense to me.
legislature to make sure we fight back against those who are trying to steal our industry away from us. And that means whether it's the tax credit or making sure we graduate the next generation of workers who can work in the entertainment industry, we will make it so attractive that they will not want to leave. But we have to make sure we're graduating the workforce for these industries to locate here. We have to create more public-private partnerships. So it's not just that private business that
the
does it
fuck
on its
outta
own, but
here,
it knows it's
dude.
got a government that wants to work with it so they can establish their business here. And we want to
Yeah,
make
let's give all our
communities
tax
livable,
dollars to
where the
private
workforce that will
corporations
come
to do
can know
worse
they can buy a
jobs.
house and they can afford to live here. If we do all those things, we'll attract business. And then what we have to do is balance our budget. And as someone who has had to balance a budget bigger than the state of California's budget, I will do that.
Thank you, Mr. Becerra. Ms. Porter.
Yeah, I mean, billionaire Tom Steyer says that California
California
is the best
can't
place to do
afford another
business, and I
neoliberal
guess it was
hellscape.
for him because he became a billionaire off it. But for the rest of California businesses, it's been a real struggle. He says he's the one doing it But the truth is, he's the one promising it. I've actually brought down costs like prescription drug costs by passing a law in Congress to give people their money back. I actually helped write a bill and testify for a bill that became law to crack down on credit card fees. If we want employers to be able to stay in this state and to add workers to this state, we have to make it affordable for workers to live here. Labor is one of the biggest costs that businesses face, and we have to pay higher wages because the cost of living goes up, and then wages go up. This is a terrible cycle. So bringing down the cost of housing, my policies for things like free childcare and a tuition-free UC CSU degree will do exactly that. It will make it cheaper for people to live here, and businesses will benefit.
Thank you, Ms. Porter. Thank you so much. 30 seconds for your reply, Mr.
Okay,
Steyer.
Katie Porter hasn't been terrible
California
so far.
is the richest state and the richest country in the world.
You are the richest person on this stage.
California is half the growth of the United States of America. The issue we have is we also have the highest poverty rate in the United States of America. The issue we have is the majority of Californians cannot afford to live here.
After 16 years of Democrat one-party rule,
to make
why
ends
do you
meet
think
at
that
the
is,
end
Tom?
of the month. And that's why I'm talking about driving down costs
thank you, Mr.
for
Steyer.
working
We're gonna move on.
Californians
Thank you
and
so
the
much.
companies that employ
Thank
them
you, sir.
so that
Your
we
time
can
is
all
up.
succeed.
Well,
Billionaire
you're one of those
tax,
billionaires
Tom.
that's staying in California.
Billionaire
looking
tax.
for a job here.
Hit
But
'em
there
up.
are other billionaires who are moving on. Larry Page and Sergey Brin of Google, Mark Zuckerberg, they've left. Steven Spielberg's left. There are a whole bunch. And obviously it's because, well, they may not say it, but it's not a coincidence that you have on the ballot in November a wealth tax where they come in and first in the nation, where they tax, what do your cars look like? How much are they worth? And what are the watches worth? So yes or no? If this is, again, if it's on your desk as governor, do you support the wealth tax, which is on the ballot, which the governor fears?
This is a great question. I'm liking the questions.
And according to the Franchise Tax Board, they pay for about 40%
Tax
of the income
the rich. Tax
Mayor
the
Villaraigosa,
rich.
yes or no?
Tax the rich.
Congresswoman?
No.
What was the question again?
Sheriff, the wealth tax, do you support it or do you oppose it?
Absolutely not.
Mr. Hilton?
No.
Mr. Steyer?
If it's on the ballot, I sign it.
Hell yeah.
Secretary Becerra?
No.
Mr. Mahan?
No, we should charge billionaires in other ways.
He's literally the only person to support the
Are you
wealth
happy with that,
tax.
Tom? How do you want to be charged by Matt?
Waiting for a
There is a
candidate to
longer-
offer a right to shelter.
There is a longer
debate, by the
discussion
way.
here.
There is a
It's the
longer
wrong
discussion.
policy.
Yeah,
It's going to
That's for
backfire.
another
We got
debate.
Tom Steyer,
We wanna move
boys.
on. We want to get as many topics in here as possible. The state has spent tens of billions to solve the homeless crisis in this state, and yet
Tom
there's a
Steyer!
perception that the homeless have
Comrade!
people
Steyer
in this state.
I agree
Homeless
with you.
encampments
I
are
am
taking
very
over the
conflicted.
streets, the sidewalks, parks, and so much more. So the question
Oh.
I have for all of you, and
Finn
I'm gonna
Rainbow,
begin with you,
same.
Mr. Steyer, is,
But that
is this the
moment
new norm?
fucking changed me.
Absolutely not.
It fucking
I mean,
changed
you've got to
me,
start
dog.
with a very important point, which is no one gets well on the street. That actually being homeless and being on the street, only about 1 in 7 of the people who become homeless have serious mental health or addiction problems, but it's so stressful and dangerous that virtually everybody succumbs to that stress in some major mental health way. So what I would say is it's absolutely critical to keep people from going on the street, that rental assistance is much cheaper and more humane than letting someone go on the street, that emergency interim housing to get people off the street into a
he's
single
saying
room
the
with a
shit.
key, with
He's doing
shared
it.
dining, laundry facilities where you can bring your dog is much more compassionate. But all of those things lead to the point that we don't want our streets to be dangerous. We do want our kids to feel safe. We do want, I'm for someone who wants to build dense housing in the inner city. And
Housing
make it vibrant
first,
and
let's
walkable and
go.
fun. And it's absolutely critical that people feel safe, can walk around.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer.
And actually create the environment that Californians deserve and want.
Thank you. Mr. Bianco.
This guy's genuinely
There was a
cooking.
misstatement in the beginning, or not a misstatement, but I will tell you that
Like,
they
the
are
solution is to
definitely not-
treat
they don't have
people
more
like
rights
fucking
than
human
anyone else.
beings.
No, but
They
there
are
is a
actually
perception.
Like, you gotta treat human beings like human beings. Housing first is cheaper in every conceivable respect. Every conceivable respect.
Any of them. If we did, the billions of dollars that we're going there,
Holy crap.
the numbers wouldn't don't
Was
get
that a
more
housing
every
first
single
from
year.
Steyer?
This
It
is
didn't have the
not
buzzword,
and
but
has
it was the
never been about
policies.
homes. This is
He got the
drug and
spirit,
alcohol
Chad.
addiction. This is about mental illness and a combination of both. And until we start calling it what it is and treating it for what it is, we are never going to get out of it. And proof of the last 12 years is right in front of us.
Also, of course, this guy wants to like
get
forcibly
them the treatment that they
detain
need. Stop calling it
homeless people.
It's mental health, drug addiction, and alcohol addiction combined. The biggest thing that we need is the treatment centers that treat at the same time mental health conditions and drugs and alcohol.
Or you could just get them homes.
Over someone's head is no different than a tent, and it doesn't mean that you solve the problem.
I'm sorry, if this bitch was homeless for like 2 weeks, he would also become an alcoholic.
$24 billion
Absolutely,
from
no
the
doubt.
state, and billions more in cities and counties. And during that period, homelessness went up. Folks,
being
we just
homeless
gotta acknowledge
sucks.
We can't just throw money at the problem. We have to
People cope how they cope.
Invest in what works and stop, spending on what doesn't. What works according to the LAO? Temporary housing works. The Home Key program, rental assistance works. But we need permanent supportive housing as well with services connected to them. But the average unit is $850,000 a unit. Your kids can't afford that. So in San Jose and Los Angeles, we're building small homes for $100,000. We've got to focus on what works and stop throwing money at what doesn't. As governor, that's what I'll do.
The average unit,
because
oh my
what
God.
we're doing now, just not working. More homelessness than in my life I've ever seen in my lifetime.
The average unit does cost a lot, but that's the thing about housing. Once you build it, it's there for as long as you maintain it.
And we have to attack that.
Like you have large upfront costs, but you save costs every year that people are housed.
And suicide prevention. And it is
in for the foreseeable future. It's an investment. All these neolibs should understand the concept of an investment.
By the folks who are getting those billions of dollars. We have to make sure that we scale the projects that work to get people off the streets, and we eliminate those that are failing. But I will tell you this, and I'm glad to hear some of my colleagues beginning to take up what I have said at the beginning. My job as governor, because I don't control the streets of the cities and the counties, is to make sure we prevent more Californians from becoming homeless. Because
who controls the
it costs far
streets?
more to take you off the streets,
Batman.
pick you up, get you the services, and get you the temporary shelter than it does to help you get past that medical emergency or that lost job. Let's keep you in your housing.
Thank you. Representative Porter.
Look, the cause of homelessness is the cost of housing. It is correct that many people who experience long-term or chronic street homelessness develop substance use and mental health issues. But a foster kid who is aging out of foster care with no money to put down for an apartment, that's not mental health problems. That's the cost of living in California. We have higher homelessness in California because our housing costs more than virtually anywhere else. Homelessness prevention is the key. It costs about $6,000 to prevent someone from becoming homeless. That is such a better investment and so much more humane than allowing people to live on the streets. We have to stop making the problem worse. And I think it's appropriate always to do oversight of where our money went. I drive a minivan. My license plate is OVRSITE, oversight. So we should be asking, did we get the bang for our buck? We owe that answer to California taxpayers, and I think we have accountability that's needed here.
Ms. Porter, thank you. Mayor Mahan, talk to us about the city of San Jose and what you've done.
Well, we've created a model for the rest of the state. I want to be really clear that 988 is not going to solve our homelessness problem. We need to have places for people to go. It's all about having alternatives. San Jose has led the way on this issue. I have the receipts to show for it.
Homelessness has gone up on your watch.
We have moved thousands of people indoors this year for the first time. And I hope I'm going to get the time to actually answer the question. For the first time in our history, a majority of people experiencing homelessness in San Jose will be indoors, not outdoors. I am sick and tired of career politicians' complacency on this issue. No one should be outside in a tent encampment. In San Jose, we're building interim shelter, basic treatment capacity. We are moving people indoors. When those spaces are available, we require people come indoors. I was the first Democrat leading a major city to support Prop 36. Because if you're repeatedly committing crime out on our streets due to addiction, we need to get you into treatment to save your life and to benefit the broader community.
Mayor Mayhem controls the streets.
We let you go extra time. We did. Mr. Hilton.
I was just trying to offer a fact check. Homelessness actually has gone up in San Jose.
It's actually about flat. What's important, though, is we've moved thousands of people indoors, 30% of whom have graduated.
This guy's too, like, I dislike this guy too much. He can't keep getting away with it.
It's a solution.
As you noted, he didn't challenge.
I do have to say, Katie Porter really lost me with the no taxing billionaires. Tax the fucking billionaires. Even the billionaire on this panel is like, tax the billionaires.
But we got to think about the fact that who's been in charge all these years? Some of these Democrats.
This the one from last week? No, I think this is the one from today.
Parallel universe where Democrats haven't been running this state for the last 16 years of one-party rule. I mean, you look at Javier, 36 years he's been a career politician for Democrats. It's just got to change. We need change if we're going to make progress. And that is what Chad's plan is exactly right. And I just add one thing to it, which is we need to enforce the law when it comes to homelessness. Just as Spencer
Why is this conservative YouTube essayist here?
It's illegal to live and camp on the streets, and that's the starting point. We can't
I have to give Mr. Becerra a chance to respond to that.
Shouldn't he be making comments about rape in UK Parliament?
I'm proud of my service as a member of Congress, as the Attorney General fighting off Donald Trump, as the Secretary who brought the country to the highest rate of insurance coverage in the nation's history. What I would ask is, what does a Fox News talking head know about running government? You've never balanced a budget the size of California, Steve. You've never had to worry about declaring a state of emergency the way I had to. I'm proud of my service, my public service. You made private profit. I was doing public service.
Mr. Becerra, are you proud that you pushed out 85,000 migrant children? They were, according to the New York Times, they were maimed, they were exploited, some were even killed.
Oh, my God.
Those are MAGA talking points. It's a MAGA hoax. Tell that to the children who died.
So I'm not sure what that had to do with
each other under the bus.
Antonio, cálmate.
I'll tell you what it had to do.
It's about truth telling.
About your service and how proud you are of that service.
The attack.
That's what it has to do with.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton. I will give you a moment, 30 seconds to respond to this.
Thank you.
I'll
tell you what I haven't done.
We could go on about homelessness for an hour here.
Colleen, I thought we got 30 seconds to respond.
Yeah, ask him what happened to the unaccompanied minors.
I did get 30 seconds to respond to the attack by Mr. Villaraigosa, so I would like my 30 seconds.
Okay, I will give you 30 seconds. Mr. Hilton, you get 30 seconds.
Okay.
Then we move on to the next topic.
So
Got it.
Trump lied about this whole situation with the migrant kids in 2024.
Did the New York Times lie?
Why don't you let me finish, Antonio?
Okay.
Donald Trump campaigned against our Democratic candidate, Kamala Harris, vice president, in 2024, using these lies. In 2026, now you have candidates like Antonio and Tom Steyer using these very lies. They were lies when Trump said them 2 years ago. They're lies today. We protected kids. We did not let them be abused. Those were the employers. But stop lying. The facts are the facts.
Okay.
There were congressional hearings.
26 Democrats condemned him. They said it was outrageous that he pushed kids out.
What was outrageous was the exploitation by the employers, not the care that they got.
Invented the assembly line, put them on an assembly line, get them out of here.
They're illegal.
That's what you said.
I'm only going to ask you one more time, please. Please, we have a lot of topics here this evening. I laid out the ground rules. You had a chance to respond. Mr. Hilton, you get 30 seconds. Then we move on. Mr. Hilton.
Thank you very much. I tell you what I haven't done, Javier, is break state and federal law by taking money from a campaign account and funneling it to a senior aid breaking those laws and then denying it. I tell you what I haven't done, which we revealed today, which is to take a taxpayer-funded organization from your money, your taxes are paying illegal immigrants to campaign for Javier Becerra through an organization called Churla, and he's accepted their endorsement. It is completely outrageous.
So, Colleen, once again.
No, we have to move on.
Wait, time
the
out.
next subject, the next topic is sanctuary. I think it's very important. Listening to the audience here, listening to the group, Enrique has a question. Please.
Colleen, so long as I understand, if a candidate is attacked...
No, it wasn't. It was up to them, and she said no. Let's move on.
We'll get back to you in a second. We got to move on. This is really important. Okay, so the state...
At the discretion of the moderators here, I've given everybody a chance to respond. Please stop with the attacks. We do the voters a disservice when we attack like that. We are trying to get more information about the topics at hand. So, sanctuary.
The state sanctuaries law, as we know, that restricts local authorities from cooperating with federal agents, federal immigration officers. My question goes to Mr. Bianco. What is one thing, Mr. Bianco, you would replace or change about the current
they really should have let them
California?
fight.
One aspect, just one.
I would eliminate sanctuary state. Sanctuary state is what is creating the issue that we have in California. It didn't exist before 2017.
I would create an entirely new bureau of law enforcement called Dread Judges, and I'd give them black uniforms and helmets to patrol the streets, and they could actually operate as judge, jury, and executioner. And I think that this system would be very fair and impartial, and also incredibly efficient. And save the taxpayer a lot of money, okay?
Go into the communities to get them instead of in the safety and security of the jail.
Mr. Bianco, so if county jails
also, I brought two of my guns tonight.
The person in question is a convicted felon of a violent crime.
Okay.
So what would be the difference then if you want to change something?
There's a huge difference because I have someone in my jail right now that if the Attorney General wants to arrest me when I turn him over, he's convicted of a felony, but the three prior
let me tell you, I got so many people in my jail right now.
He was deported on two of them back into the country, and then he killed a 14-year-old boy with another DUI. So we have to wait until somebody dies before we deport criminals who are in our jail, and those people who are released from the jail, immigration enforcement officials have to go into the communities.
Yeah, this is just not how this system works.
Mr. Villaraigosa,
He's
really quick,
just lying.
He said that yesterday. It's just not true.
Yeah.
12,000 undocumented violent criminals.
Tell that to the family that lost their child.
Look, I know you're an oath keeper and you feel
the guy's
like you
in
can
jail.
Do whatever you want.
It's not the Ritz.
Let me finish
it's jail.
May I have my time back?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, we're gonna give it to you.
Let me just say, in point of fact, you keep on saying that they don't turn over violent criminals.
No, I didn't.
That's just not true.
No,
they do. They've turned over 12,000 since 2019.
It obviously wasn't enough.
Well, Mr.
What does that
thank you.
mean?
Ms. Porter, you want to say something about this issue?
Yeah, I mean, I think we ought to enforce the existing sanctuary laws everywhere so we don't have crazy cowboys taking the law into their own hands.
Tell that to a crazy mother who lost her child.
Sir, I don't need any lectures from you about being a mother.
Of course, you might.
Okay.
Colleen.
Again,
I know how to be a mother.
This evening, shout past me.
My father, my mother.
Not giving me a chance to respond.
That was obviously a scripted answer that didn't fit. But go ahead.
But please, I'm sorry, everybody.
No, I'm not going to be, excuse me,
not for this.
I'm not going to be lectured because I have not interrupted a single person.
I understand, Congresswoman. You have the floor.
So I think it's important to recognize that our sanctuary laws are only as good as the enforcement of them. We have entities right now, including local sheriffs, including state agencies in a lot of our counties that are violating sanctuary law. He says he wants to enforce the sanctuary law. He wants to do away with the sanctuary law policy. That's because he doesn't want to have to follow
Porter
it.
just manhandled the debate moderator. That was crazy.
Of their governor. Every Californian deserves the protection of their governor. Keep talking over me.
you know, Sheriff, you had an opportunity to speak. Ms. Porter, you have.
I respect you,
Are
but
you
I don't need
finished?
your help being defended. Thank you.
Okay. You know what, Conan? We have a final question.
Right. So,
Can we all address this?
This is a key
We
question.
have a final question.
but very quickly, the Democrats on this panel, for the most part, support the sanctuary state law. Is that in agreement, Mr. Secretary? It would be Mr. Mahan, Mayor.
Yeah, I'd like to
but
say,
I'd like to be able to respond to the accusations that were made.
Come on, get in there, Steyer.
I'd like to answer the question too.
No, please, let me at least answer. You all said I was going to get to answer that question.
Look at Tom Steyer. He's in his element.
30 seconds. We're going to start with Mr. Becerra. 30 seconds. Go ahead.
First, SB 54, the Values Act, sanctuary law, I defended it against Donald Trump's attacks the first time he was president, and I beat him. That's why we still have that law in place. I stopped ICE from trying to force our law enforcement to do ICE raids because I beat Donald Trump in court. As governor, I will investigate ICE. We will prosecute ICE. We will convict ICE if they have violated the law. And what I will tell Steve and Chad is that Chirla is one of the biggest defenders of immigrant rights in this nation. They deserve respect.
I agree.
Please.
So, Enrique, you're
Mahan,
correct. And as the mayor of the safest big city in the country, I can affirm that our sanctuary laws do not provide sanctuary to criminals. What they do is they build trust between law enforcement officers and the community they serve. We don't ask our police officers to check your tax returns or your immigration papers because we want you to report. Let me finish. We want you to report crime, serve as a witness, provide evidence, but we absolutely have to enforce our laws and keep people safe, and we can do both. I do want to say, though, Antonio is absolutely right about the secretary's failure on the immigration issue. There is a direct line.
Matt, that's an absolute lie.
There's a direct line between his failed leadership and Donald Trump being in the White House.
So once again, an attack.
Okay.
Do I get to respond to the false attack?
You have 30 seconds.
Thank
really
you.
quick. 30 seconds.
Those were Trump lies in 2024. And now that you're peddling them, Matt, they're still lies. Lies don't become facts because you're a Democrat and Trump was a Republican. You're just peddling a Republican's lies.
I don't think Democratic Congress members
and if
like
there were
AOC
26
or
of them
were lying.
said it was outrageous.
If I could just finish with my time. We stopped what Donald Trump was doing. Remember those days? Trump was putting kids in cages.
Ask them about his
Donald
son.
Trump was separating children from their parents. We stopped that. We took care of them. We protected those kids. We didn't do what Trump did, and we're not using lies.
Who do we like here?
Let me say really quick, Mr.
Tom
Let me
Steyer.
say this.
This guy.
ICE is a criminal organization. They're coming into our state. They're terrorizing people. They're racially profiling
Arrest
people.
ICE.
And they're harming people and committing violence against
Do
them.
it, Tom Steyer.
I'm in favor of abolishing ICE.
Yeah!
Along the way, I did push for the sanctuary state law, which I absolutely believe in. But more than that, we should be prosecuting ICE agents.
Hell
for racial
yeah!
profiling. It's illegal in the state of California.
Abolish
We
and
should be
prosecute. Let's
prosecuting
go!
them for violence against Californians. It's illegal, and we should go up the chain to the people
Hell yeah!
who asked them to commit violence, including Stephen Miller. The truth is, we should be investigating their detention centers that they will not show that are dangerous, and they won't let anyone in. And I guess you can figure why. We should be protecting immigrants.
I
The state
do
was built by
condemn the
immigrants.
enchilada.
They continue to make this state run. And the idea that we let agents from Washington, D.C. with masks and assault rifles come in here and terrorize them is absolutely against Californian values, and the governor is here to protect Californians.
Prosecute the facilities, prosecute the agents, prosecute Stephen fucking Miller.
Mr. Hilton, okay. Mr. Mahan, thank you so much. Mr. Hilton, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Unlike everybody else here, I actually am an immigrant. I'm a proud American citizen, and I am the candidate of the legal immigrant community for the legal immigrant community.
The fuck up.
So that they can have the California dream. Just as my parents had it when they moved from Hungary, fleeing communism, to build a new life in England. That's what California is all about. But it's
Look, if Tom Steyer jails enough ICE agents
and legal, and
Yosemite
that's what we
Sam
have
might
to
finally be
honest
happy
about in this whole discussion about immigration and its enforcement. I can tell you very clearly that when I'm governor, as I've said, I will be there for our immigrant communities, our legal immigrant communities, but also will make sure that all our laws are peacefully enforced. We can't just stand up here and decide which laws we like and which laws we don't. If we don't like the laws, we got to change them. But the governor's job is to enforce them.
That's deciding which laws you like.
And calmly and cooperatively with the federal immigration authorities.
Mr. Hilton, are you aware that not every immigrant has the privilege that maybe you had to come to this country with a visa?
I understand exactly what it's like to be in a country without those privileges, because that's my life and my story. When my parents fed communism in Hungary, and I grew up in a household with a single mother, working class immigrant
without a visa,
just like so many millions in California. My stepdad worked construction. My first job, project manager for a construction company. So yes, I absolutely understand that, and that opportunity is what I want for every single one of you.
Thank you, sir.
Every single one. Okay, we have a few minutes.
Your parents didn't have
What we're
visas
going
to
do
be
is
here?
Ask you several questions, as many as we can get in. Yes or no answers. Please respect the time we have left. We want to get as much
This
information
man chanting
out
to lock
voters.
up his
Enrique.
So as of this year,
elderly
undocumented adults
grandma.
can no longer enroll in Medi-Cal. Would you reinstate this if you become governor? Yes or no? Mr. Villaraigosa?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Bianco?
No.
Mr. Hilton?
No.
Mr. Steyer?
Yes.
Mr. Becerra?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right, film and television. It is the backbone, or was the backbone, of California. We've seen a lot of production move out of state. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you place this in terms of priority? I believe we touched on it earlier, but I'd like a commitment from you.
Number 1.
That's your top priority in the whole state?
Please answer the question, Ms. Porter.
Ms.
On a scale
Porter.
of 1 to 10, is it a priority?
It's a priority,
Well,
yes.
Of course it's a priority. Everyone's going to say, it's a priority. Of course it is.
Yeah. It's a weird question, to be honest. I agree with Katie.
But still answer it, okay?
Bipartisanship.
I think you might even get all of us to agree with that one.
Let me
But it's
give
a
you a
weird
different
question.
yes or no very quickly. We have 2 minutes
Would you
left. If you don't mind, Colleen, for the people in Avila Beach and San Luis Obispo County, Diablo Canyon, the only nuclear power plant left in the state, 9% of the electricity. We pay 3 times the power in the rest of the nation.
Rise
It's
again.
supposed to
I
go
also
offline in
wondered
2030.
which was
Do you
high priority,
extend it?
1 or
Mayor
10.
Mahan, yes or no?
Keep it open.
Mr. Secretary Becerra.
Yes, if safety, yes, but safety first.
Right, I'm sorry, Tom Steyer.
Extend it.
Extend it. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Mr. Hilton.
Yes, extend it and build new ones.
Chad Bianco, the sheriff.
Completely nuclear.
Okay. Katie Porter.
Only
Extend.
nuclear.
Okay. Antonio.
All right, let me rephrase.
Only
the film
nuclear
question.
energy,
Would
no
you extend
solar
tax
wind.
credits to match other countries and other states? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Bianco?
Yes.
Yes, I published my plan on this last week.
Yes
I would
or no,
exceed
Please.
other countries. We got to be
Yes
the
or no?
I hate
best
this
in the
guy
world.
so much.
Yes.
Mr. Becerra?
Yes, and it's an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Thank you.
Yes, I was the
Mayhem.
first candidate to put out a plan doing just that.
Thank you. Yes.
Very quickly, again, we got a minute left. Under the California Education Code, you perform in an athletic event K through 12 based on your identification by gender.
Oh, God.
Would you change that law to match the IOC that you identify based on your
All right, who's
birth
transphobic?
gender? Yes or no? Very quickly, we have 30 seconds left. Mr. Mahan?
Sorry, change which law? State law?
The current law says you identify, and that's
Yeah.
how you participate.
Yeah, but at higher levels, I would let the leagues decide.
Okay, Mr. Becerra?
Enforce the law.
Okay, Mr. Steyer? 15
Allow
seconds.
trans athletes to participate.
Mr.
Hell
Hilton.
yeah.
I have a wristband that says Save Girl Sports, and I
Chad
will.
Bianco, Katie Porter.
Yes, enforce the existing law.
That wraps it up for us.
Tom Steyer.
Quarter 4 growth reports
Let's
are in.
go. I don't know if I think we're at we're just like I don't think that's the entire debate. I think it will come back after these messages, but Tom Steyer getting in at the last minute with I support trans people. Hell yeah. I gotta be completely honest with you. Katie Porter completely lost me with her desire not to tax billionaires. When Tom Steyer is the only man on stage, the only person on stage to actually support taxing billionaires, like, that wins me over. Look, I gotta be honest. If there is if there is only one candidate willing to actually tax billionaires, I'm going with that candidate. Like, he's throwing down with insurance companies. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking break the break the electrical monopolies. It's gonna be good. What's on tap? This is 10,000 Drops, craft distillers out of Faribault, Minnesota. It's a single barrel bourbon whiskey. Will he tax himself, though? Is the real question? He's been pretty explicit that he would. She was saying no to that particular legislation, which is just a one-time tax, when she'd prefer tax code changes to make that permanent. Look, it just looks really bad when she says on stage no to that question. And I will also say, like, I'm sorry, tax them now, tax them as soon as possible, and then change that tax code. You know, like, I do think that the time of, like, well, we need a perfect solution is gone. We need, like, if this is what has the juice behind it right now, let that pass first, and then let's also pass a reform to the tax code. Yeah, it's embrace yes and, you know, learn some improv comedy in Hollywood. I like Tom and Katie both. Yeah, Katie wasn't terrible, but Tom was just very good.
I liked Tom and Katie both. Nobody's perfect. I want to know how they both feel about Israel and Palestine. And yes, I do realize that those places have nothing to do with California, but I still want to know.
I mean, I know that Katie Porter got in some hot water, for calling Benjamin Netanyahu impressive a few years ago. I don't know if she still is in that, like, mindset, but I do think that Tom Steyer has tended to be a bit better on the issue. I know that Katie Porter also took money for AIPAC in her Senate run, which is not great. Tom Steyer has been pretty adamant that he would never, ever take money from AIPAC. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting, to say the least. I guess that is it for the debate. I believe that I don't think they're coming back. So that's what we got. Oh God. Currently a bunch of people are saying Steve Hilton won the debate. I think everyone online for the local news is a deep conservative shill. Like it's like not even close over here. Who won the debate for California governor as of 4 minutes ago? 38% saying that little, like, British weasel. Or wait, maybe not the British weasel? Maybe the fucking Yosemite Sam motherfucker?
Blimey, I'm not a fan of the proles, mate. Versus Chad Steyer. Tax the rich, build infrastructure, support the homeless, support trans people.
It was great. I also like that in his response, he was just like, support trans people, you know? Instead of just giving a yes or no, like, he contextualized the question in a way that I think was really smart in the moment, you know? As a Californian, I'm now 100% on board with class traitor Tom Steyer, assuming he's not a psyop. I mean, I will say that, like, Tom Steyer has had 4 years to come out and, like, betray the progressive movement. 6 years since 2020 to come out and betray the progressive movement, and he's been very consistent. Pretty much the only person outside of Bernie Sanders in the 2020 primary that, like, stayed true, you know?
A lot of Americans hear a British accent and think, oh, he must be smart. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah. I did want to play this. Let me throw this up here. Just to give you guys a little bit more background on Tom Steyer. Let's see if I can... Yeah, I think this is it. I think I even have it bookmarked to the right place.
Is preparing for a Democratic Congress. Pop this up.
Wait, maybe not. Okay.
Streams. What is your take on him in a billionaire running?
I think it's I'm still attempting to figure it out, right? So I grew up in San Francisco in the city. I'm from California, live in New York. Now I've been on the East Coast for a while. I grew up knowing some of the Steyer family, right? It's a close, small city. I think that some people in California are saying that it is good how messy the California primary is, that is what a jungle primary does. It forces battles, it forces this type of congestion, and ultimately the right person will prevail.
Why is he wet? Look, it's hot under studio lights, okay? I'm sweating like crazy right now, but you guys can't tell because I'm wearing this big puffy shirt.
And I think that we also
cut this well moisturized man some slack, okay? Not enough men moisturize. We need to reward him for making an effort, okay?
Also have to acknowledge that like the progressive base, not everybody, it's a bit splintered, but like there is a progressive base that is starting to consolidate behind Steyer. Our Revolution, which is no longer connected to Bernie Sanders, as my understanding, but an organization that started with Bernie Sanders years and years ago, they have endorsed Tom Steyer, right? Basically, every single environmental group in the country has stacked behind Tom Steyer. And it's hard to ignore that. When you have somebody else like Becerra, who I think like is overall positive, right? But we have to remember Becerra is taking the max amount of donations from Chevron. I believe it was like $39,000, right? He is exceptionally unclear on where he stands on healthcare, specifically on single payer healthcare. Sometimes publicly he says he's for it, then he goes into back rooms with medical donors and says he's against it. And the reality with Tom Steyer is once you separate the billionaire piece, which is very hard to separate, but once you separate that, he's extremely clear on a lot of these positions. He supports single payer. He supports a billionaire tax. And a lot of people hit him on not being super strong in the billionaire tax support. But the reason he doesn't support it as much as we'd like him to, and by the way, he said absolutely he will vote for the billionaire tax in California. The reason he said he doesn't love it is because he thinks it's not strong enough. It's a one-time tax. He thinks that the tax should be raised. He thinks that they should tax billionaires more and that the duration of that tax should be extended. And so, I personally do struggle with somebody or anybody in politics or business who has basically spent their career building wealth. And then once they build that wealth, they feel like, okay, now's the time to give back. It's hard for me to trust that person because then the question is, well, if you had never built that wealth, would you be giving back or not? Right. But I do think the reality of political elections is that sometimes you have to choose the best of the options that you have. And for me, out of all those options on the table right now, as it stands, I do think that Steyer is probably the best option. It is extremely difficult for me to say that knowing he's a billionaire. It is weird. I don't quite understand it, but like,
I do have to say, like, I think this perfectly encapsulates how I feel, especially after seeing that debate, especially after seeing him in action and absolutely nail it, Jennifer Welch and the I've Had It crew, like they're doing good work over here. And I do think I'm on the same page as this guy here, who just want to give credit where it's due. That's Charlie Goldenson. So just as an FYI, that is who that is. He's a fellow progressive leftist, I believe, content creator. Also, Horror Queen, I'm glad that I've been able to help you. I'm glad that my appearances on the Transatlantic Call-In Show have been helpful, and I'll be on it tomorrow. I'm not sure when this video will go up, but as of tonight on the stream, it will be tomorrow when I'm on the Transatlantic Call-In Show again. So folks, tune into that over on the line. But yeah, like I don't want to sugarcoat it. Like it feels weird being like, I'm going to roll the dice and hope this guy is a class traitor, but that is genuinely where I feel we're at.
You need a technical difficulties, graphic screen with or similar.
I do need a technical difficulties scene. All right. Let's finish it out. Katie Porter was all right. Tom Steyer absolutely fucking nailed this thing. And God, I hope he is a consistent class traitor. I hope so. It is heartening in 2026 to see an old white man in politics willing to throw down for trans people. I'm not gonna lie. God, it's nice. It's nice to know not all is lost. And it's also nice to know that there are still some people who support taxing billionaires, you know? All that being said, folks, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words really help in the algorithm, and get organized. If you get organized, you can help great political candidates survive and thrive anywhere in this country. You can make your local Democratic Party more progressive. You can make your DSA more effective.
The groups supporting Steyer's campaign are notable.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Steyer's got like the Bernie crew behind him. Like, not just like the Our Revolution folks, but also like the folks who worked on Bernie Sanders' campaign. Like, there's a lot of infrastructure that indicates to me that Steyer's a real one, and I'm hoping that that's all legit. Also, hearing him just full-throatedly defend housing first initiatives, and it was just genuinely heartening. Banger after banger, that man. But folks, if you need help getting organized with your local Dems and your local DSA, join our Discord. Reach out to Gamergy for help with DSA. Reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. And organize and like get on the ground. Do phone banking. Do door knocking. We are in the season where that stuff, stepping up, getting trained, getting other folks in your orbit ready to throw down and like actually hit the pavement. That stuff starts mattering. Get trained up now so you can help others get involved, you know? All that being said, get involved somehow. All of us need to. We are in a time of full mobilization need, especially in light of the VRA being struck down essentially by the Supreme Court and John Roberts. So all that being said, if you want to oppose American apartheid, you better be organizing, folks. Organizing. It's the name of the game. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is non-tucking lingerie. And it's sexy. It is comfy. It fits. Go check it out. ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the description. Let's all keep on going, huh?
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, being and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.